Hi, welcome back to Adulting 101, Managing a Quarter Life Crisis and During the Time of a Pandemic. Again, I'm Dr. Ann Jaronski, and we're now on to part two. How can you manage what you're experiencing? All right, so the first step would be to manage emotions. I've broken it down into a simple four-part to help you figure out how do you manage emotions. And the first part is really about recognizing. So, how do you recognize what you're feeling? Some of us are really good at that. We do it automatically, we do it quite frequently. Some of us aren't so great about that. So, if you are not great about managing or recognizing emotions, the first step would be to pause. Take a couple of deep breaths and ask yourself, what am I experiencing? What are you feeling? What are your concerns? And that's it. That's the best way to recognize. Second step is to acknowledge. And really, the best ways to think about that is it has to do with literally just putting a check mark. So if you look at the symbol that I've used for the word acknowledge, it's a check mark. So it could just be a head nod. It's just acknowledging the first part of what you recognize. The third part is about labeling. And that really means giving name to what you're thinking or what you're feeling. As humans, we are not so great with the unknown. We go to great lengths to fill in the blanks, to understand, to label, to name something, to make a story up, to understand. And labeling is just part of that. Really, it's just stating to yourself what you've already acknowledged and what you recognize. Being able to give it a name allows us to narrow down what we need to do for the fourth step, which is to address it. So, if, for example, I pause, take a deep breath, what I recognize is that I'm really stressed about work stuff. I am not sure what the world of work is going to be like. I thought I'd had it all lined up, and now I don't know about my job. Next step would be that I acknowledge that is a piece of what I'm experiencing. The third step would be to label that. I'm worried about job. Well, by even putting those three pieces together, that now allows me to narrow down what, if anything, can I do about that. And with the world of work, there are some things I can do, which then allows me to deal with that and to have a plan to move forward. So that's one way to deal with emotions. Another piece that I want to highlight is that it can be really important to think about and understand what we can control and what we can't control. Now, this infographic, you may have seen it. It's out there on the internet a lot. It's very timely. It has to do with the pandemic and social distancing and really dealing with the pieces that I can control and that I can't control. I happen to like the one that's in the top right corner, which is about the amount of toilet paper at the store. Because I don't know about you, but I can't control the amount of toilet paper that's at my local Giant Eagle. I could get really stressed and anxious about it, especially if I'm not feeling a sense of control or I need more toilet paper in my house. But I have no control over that. It's important to understand what you can and can't control because unfortunately we can spend a way too much time focused on things that are out of our control. And putting energy into, again, for example, the amount of toilet paper at my local Giant Eagle is not really helpful for me because I don't control that. So being able to tease out things and understand what's in our control and what's not in our control can be super helpful, just in terms of managing things. The next thing is to think about things that you can try or to understand things that you can try. Again, oftentimes we feel really out of control. Um, and so understanding things that are more in our control and what we can do about it can be very helpful. So the first thing I suggest is practicing. And by this, I mean practice some self compassion. Those things that we'll tell ourselves about how we would treat a friend or family member if they came to us with this issue or were in the same situation. We tend to be really supportive and encouraging of other people and tend to be really hard on ourselves. Self compassion means treating ourselves as we would treat other people, which tends to be kinder. Another thing would be to try new things. Part of a quarter life crisis really has to do with maybe feeling stuck or burned out, or again, that disconnect between how we thought our lives were going to be at this point and how they really are. Sometimes trying new things, learning a new skill, learning a new hobby can help you either expand into finding something new that might be of value or feel valuable to you, or it could be a way to help you understand, no, I'm on the right path. This other thing that I thought might be better really isn't. Also, learn. Hey, look, we could all benefit by learning to manage our anxiety in better ways. And if you don't like the term anxiety, change that out with stress. We could all benefit from increasing our stress management abilities. Now's a great time to do that. But also, all of the techniques around anxiety or stress management are really helpful for managing lots of different emotions. Finally, focus on your values. Again, a piece of the quarter life crisis that can be so disconcerting is that disconnect between our values, our beliefs, and our actions. And when we are not doing things that line up with our values and our beliefs, it can feel really unfulfilling. So if you're struggling with a quarter life crisis, making sure that you're doing things that are in alignment with what you value and what you believe in may be a way to feel like you're more back on track or you're more whole in this process. Okay, so what happens if you can't manage on your own? You're trying some of these things, please give it more than a day, but it's not helping. Your quarter life crisis is still impacting you on a daily basis in ways that are not functional. So the next line of defense is really about asking for help. And I always encourage people, start with your relationships that already exist or your circles that already exist. So that's why I have things like friends, family, faculty, supervisors. This is your next level. Asking for assistance, again, once you've been able to recognize what you're feeling or experiencing and acknowledge that and label that, remember, once you have that label, it gives you a better idea what, if anything, you can do about that or what you need to do about that. That may also help you narrow down who you could ask for help with in any particular issue. Okay, so you've asked your friend, you've gone to your supervisor or your advisor or your faculty about questions or concerns you've had, and that's still not helpful enough. Then your next level would be to seek professional help. And that could be things like talking to a clergy member, talking to a mental health professional, working with a career counselor if what you're experiencing has to do with the world of work. Stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to talk more specifically about resources that you can use in managing this quarter life